Hello, Trekkies and Trekkers. Well, time for another day of Star Trek Timber. So let's start things off with Q Who. On his way back to his quarters, Captain Jean-Luc Picard steps off a turbolift and instead of finding himself in a corridor on board the Enterprise, ends up on board a shuttlecraft with Q at the controls. Picard demands to be returned to the Enterprise. Q calls him an impossibly stubborn human and refuses to take him back until he agrees to at least hear Q's requests. Q then transports them to 10 forward, where Guinan, who recognizes him, warns Picard not to trust him. Q reveals that he wants to join the crew to assist them as they push further into unexplored regions of the galaxy, asserting they are not ready for the threats they will encounter. Picard chooses to make their own way into the unknown and rejects Q's offer. Irritated by Picard's ignorance, Q snaps his fingers and sends the Enterprise thousands of light years across the galaxy, then disappears. Lieutenant Commander Data reports that the nearest starbase is over 2 years away at maximum warp. A fearful Guinan warns Picard to set course for home immediately, but Picard is curious to explore the new area of the galaxy. I would actually listen to Guinan if I were you. They discover a nearby planet that shows signs of a previous civilization but has been stripped of all industrial and mechanical elements, similar to destruction found several months ago to Federation outposts bordering the Romulan neutral zone. Interesting. Moments later, they detect and are then met by a much larger, cube-shaped vessel which does not answer their hails. Guinan warns Picard that the ship belongs to the Borg, a powerful cyborg-like race that nearly wiped out her people, scattering the survivors across the galaxy, and again urges Picard to leave immediately or face certain destruction. The Picard orders the Enterprise's shields raised. A single speechless Borg transports into engineering and begins to probe the Enterprise's computer systems. Lieutenant Worf initially attempts to incapacitate the intruder with his phaser set on stun, which has absolutely no effect, and is forced to increase power in order to neutralize the Borg. Immediately afterwards, a second Borg appears and continues probing the computer, proving to be immune to phaser fire. He's adapted. Completing its mission, it strips several components from the dead Borg, then transports away, and the dead Borg disappears. The Borg ship then contacts the Enterprise and demands their surrender. The Borg then immobilizes the Enterprise with a tractor beam, disables the shields, and uses a cutting beam to slice into the saucer section to remove a cross-section of the ship, killing 18 people. Yikes. Picard orders a return fire, and the Enterprise appears to disable the Borg ship. Against Guinan's advice, Commander William Riker takes an away team to the immense Borg cube, where they find mostly dormant Borg drones and a Borg nursery. Ugh. Worf discovers that the Borg ship is regenerating and repairing the damage made by the Enterprise. The away team is beamed directly to the bridge, and Picard orders that they depart at maximum warp. Good idea. The Borg ship immediately reactivates and begins pursuit, gaining on the Enterprise. Q appears on the bridge and warns Picard that the Borg will never stop chasing them and cannot be defeated. Picard attempts to fight back against the Borg to no avail, and finally admits he needs Q's help. Q obliges, returning the Enterprise to its last position in Federation space. Whew! Picard, though thankful for Q's lesson, blames Q for the deaths of his crew. I'm pretty sure it was the Borg who did that, not Q. Q disappears, but not before reminding them again of their ill preparedness. Guinan warns Picard that the Borg are aware of the Federation's presence. They will be coming. Guinan warns Picard that now that the Borg are aware of the Federation's presence, they will be coming. Picard reflects that perhaps Q did the right thing for the wrong reasons by bringing forward their encounter with the Borg, as a form of the Federation lies ahead of them as they continue to explore. So anyway, let's look at some production notes here. The episode featured the third appearance of Delancey as Q after encounter at Farpoint and Hyde and Q, the latter of which have been written by Hurley under a pseudonym. Lucia Neff was introduced as Ensign Sonia Gomez, who was intended to be a recurring character in the same manner as Chief Miles O'Brien, played by Cole Meany, who also appeared in this episode. However, Neff only made one further appearance as Gomez in the following episode, although the character later appeared in the Starfleet Corps of Engineers series of novellas. So that's not bad, I guess. Q-Who went $50,000 over budget and at one point had an 8th day of shooting arranged, although this was subsequently cancelled. The overspending on this episode and elementary deer data resulted in the budget-saving production of the clip show Shades of Grey. Director Rob Bowman was concerned with Q-Who for a while, saying that, quote, "We didn't know day to day if we were making a stinker or a winner. Never sure you guys made a winner." Gene Roddenberry was keen not to reuse aliens from the original series, and so the Ferengi were developed to be the main villains for the Next Generation. After New Aliens' first few appearances, it was decided that they were too comical to suit such a role, and instead the production team began looking for a new adversary for Starfleet. Writer and co-executive producer Maurice Hurley developed the idea of an insectoid race with a shared hive consciousness. This idea would become the cybernetic Borg due to budget constraints, with the idea of a hive mind remaining. The new race would go on to appear in 5 further episodes of The Next Generation, as well as the film First Contact. Borg also appeared in the pilot of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the Star Trek Enterprise episode Regeneration, and repeatedly in Star Trek Voyager from the end of Season 3 onwards. It had been originally planned to include the Borg in the first season episode The Neutral Zone, but due to the 1988 Writers Guild of America strike, the time to write the script was cut short. Hurley developed the episode over a day and a half with the Borg elements directly removed. The episode was originally conceived as having 2 parts, with the Romulans and Federation teaming up with the second part, but that plan was subsequently dropped. This plot may have been linked to the aliens seen in Conspiracy. The Neutral Zone instead simply made reference to the destruction of a series of outposts by an unknown enemy. At least now we kinda know who did that. The design of the Borg was reminiscent of Lord Dredd for the television series Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, and the designs of H.R. Giger. Nice! The first designs for the new race were created by costume designer Dorinda Wood after she received the script to Q-Who. While her design showed a suit with tubes running in and out of it, she left the head design up to makeup supervisor Michael Westmore. The headpieces of the main costumes were made at the same time by the 2 different departments, with Wood and Westmore working together at times to ensure that they matched. The base of the headpieces was made from foam, and while Westmore initially made casts of model kits using polyurethane for the electronic parts, he found it was more effective to use actual electronics from damaged equipment. He designed a latex attachment to allow for tubes to be attached to skin, so there was not a great deal of bare skin left on the actors' bodies. That skin was covered in a white base makeup in order to achieve a zombie-like appearance. That's kind of interesting. So overall, this looks like a pretty darn good episode and a very good introduction to the Borg in Star Trek. So overall, I give Q-Who 5 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me soon as we take a look at Samaritan Snare. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.